Anh chờ ở đấy một lát nhé, em qua luôn.
Nghĩ một số chuyện linh tinh của cháu cũng có 2 con.
Thôi được rồi, bây giờ tôi xin phép anh nhé.
Ở trong trại cháu cũng có bếp ga nhưng mà cháu không biết dùng.
Cái hôm đấy cũng có anh và mẹ dậy sớm nấu cho con tí ăn sáng.
Nhà nhá, bị tận trong đồi núi này, bị mãi bị tới. Xem là ông già có nhà không?
Thế nào rồi ông già?
Có thông tin gì tôi sẽ gửi cho các anh luôn.
Ông cứ cẩn thận. Con gái của các ông đang làm trong kênh chúng tôi. Lè mà làm xong việc, tính mạng của con gái ông sẽ được đảm bảo. Thế rồi. Con Tử Tiên này không còn đường về đâu anh ạ.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Kênh Review. Wishing you lots of health, happiness, and joyful moments with your loved ones. After making sure Tử Tiên is safe with trusted acquaintances. Today we will follow Jack as he returns to his daily work at the construction site. Everything seemed to have calmed down. But no, Jack unexpectedly discovered the bad guys when they came looking for the fake father to get information. Will there be a confrontation? How will Jack handle this situation? Stay tuned. And especially, don't take your eyes off the screen because a big surprise is waiting for you at the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support us. Thank you. Right after arranging a safe place for Tử Tiên, Jack immediately had to face the work responsibilities waiting for him. A call from Tử requesting an urgent meeting about the inter-village bridge project pulled him back into his role as an engineer. A specialist, Jack's reaction was highly professional and decisive. He did not hesitate or make any personal excuses and agreed to meet immediately. Wait there a bit. I'll come over right away. This showed his clear separation between personal matters and work, as well as his strong sense of responsibility toward this important community project. However, even as he prepared to meet his partner, Jack's mind was still alert to the lurking danger. His quick action of contacting Tung by email to ask for help, "I need a small favor from you," showed that he was silently executing his counterplan alongside his regular work. He was not passively waiting but proactively seeking support from the authorities. Operating discreetly and effectively, his fleeting thought that his mother was probably still asleep, followed by the decision, "Better just go handle my work," revealed his intense focus on the task ahead, while also showing his desire to shoulder everything himself without disturbing his mother after a long, worrisome night. Jack demonstrated the strength of a mature man, facing work pressure while secretly arranging plans to protect his loved ones from an invisible but deadly threat. He had to maintain a calm, professional exterior even though his inner world was filled with worries. The meeting at the cafe between Jack and Tử started with extremely good news. The inter-village bridge project that Jack was passionate about had officially been approved. Tử congratulations and Jack's surprise, that fast, showed that this success came earlier than expected. A well-deserved recognition for Jack's efforts and capabilities. This joy acted as a precious boost of morale while Jack was grappling with many personal difficulties. Immediately, Jack displayed a high level of responsibility and professionalism. He affirmed that he would start executing the project immediately, even directly supervising and advising on the construction to ensure quality and safety, factors he always prioritized. This dedication stemmed not only from his professional responsibility but also from his love for his homeland and his desire for the villagers to have a solid bridge for easier travel. Tử had complete trust in Jack's ability and dedication. "If you're in charge, I'm relieved." Then, Tử opened a new work opportunity for Jack, taking on additional irrigation projects. This was a clear recognition of Jack's talent and reputation in the eyes of his superiors. "You're a great engineer." The higher-ups also suggested you take charge. This offer showed that Jack's career future was very promising. However, Jack had to tactfully decline part of this offer. He frankly shared that his personal project, probably the clinic, had to be temporarily suspended but confirmed that he would fully focus on the bridge project. Regarding the irrigation project, he asked for some time to reorganize his work and promised to reply soon. This handling showed Jack's honesty and reasonable work management. He did not take on too much, knowing that he still had family matters to deal with, but still expressed his appreciation for the opportunity and his commitment to consider it. The conversation took place in an atmosphere of mutual trust and respect. Jack received the reviewed project file and was ready to start the new work. Despite having some family affairs, he prioritized launching the community project as soon as possible, especially with the stormy season approaching. The meeting ended with satisfaction from both sides, showing that Jack not only solved the work issues but also strengthened his reputation and opened new opportunities, even though the road ahead still had many personal challenges to face. In the quiet space of the new house, Tu Tien began adapting to her temporary life and getting to know the kind-hearted homeowner, Mrs. Min. The conversation between the two women, though initially a bit distant, gradually became warmer through everyday stories. Tu Tien, perhaps to ease her homesickness and worries, started observing and talking about the surroundings, the blue-eyed cat reminding her of the cats on the farm, the vast garden. These details reflected her love for nature and her deep bond with rural life. When she shared about being alone, separated from her family since she was young, the sadness in her voice moved Mrs. Min. How unfortunate. The sympathy and encouragement from Mrs. Min, "Stay here with me. Just the two of us. So you won't feel lonely," brought comfort and a sense of welcome to Tu Tien. The young girl also showed her diligence and desire to contribute by offering to help Mrs. Min weed the garden. Their interactions over house chores, farm work, and raising cattle helped them understand each other better and build a bond. Tu Tien shared her love for raising livestock but mentioned Jack had discouraged her because he worried it would be too hard for her, a small detail revealing Jack's care for her. The conversation also gradually revealed Mrs. Min's own loneliness. Her husband had passed away long ago, and her only daughter married and moved far away to Germany, visiting only occasionally. Their somewhat similar situations, both missing close family nearby, allowed them to open up and connect more easily. Tu Tien's curiosity about distant Germany, about the distance and travel time, showed her innocence and her yearning to explore the world beyond her rural life. Mrs. Min's kindness and thoughtfulness continued to shine when she prepared to go buy food for both of them, especially when Tu Tien offered to contribute money. Mrs. Min gently refused, advising her to keep it in case of illness, showing genuine care like a family member would. This conversation not only helped Tu Tien ease her loneliness in a strange place but also revealed her adaptability and willingness to integrate. At the same time, it painted a vivid image of Mrs. Min, a kind, hardworking, and compassionate woman who would become a reliable temporary support for Tu Tien in the days ahead. The quiet yet somewhat melancholic atmosphere of the house also reflected the emotional state of the two women, both longing for the presence of their loved ones. The morning at the new place continued with everyday activities, helping Tu Tien gradually get used to the space and the people there. Her diligence and quickness showed through her initiative to go out and weed the garden, even though Mrs. Min had advised her to rest. This action not only reflected her hardworking nature but also her way of expressing gratitude and her desire to contribute, not wanting to become a burden to the one who had taken her in. As they moved into the kitchen to prepare lunch, the conversation between the two women revealed more similarities and differences in their lives. Tu Tien appeared quite skilled in kitchen work, from picking vegetables and washing them to cooking preparation. She shared that she was used to using a wood stove on the farm since they also cooked pig feed, while Mrs. Min was accustomed to using a gas stove for convenience since she lived alone. These small details painted a picture of their daily lives, one closely tied to a self-sufficient farm life, the other living simply in a quiet rural area. Tu Tien also showed her concern by asking if Mrs. Min sold vegetables at the market, to which she replied that she only grew them for eating and sharing with neighbors when needed. This reflected the generosity and strong sense of community in the countryside. While cooking, Mrs. Min went outside to tend to the cattle, leaving Tu Tien alone in the kitchen. This moment, along with the thought, she must feel very lonely living alone, showed Tu Tien's deep empathy for Mrs. Min's situation. Perhaps she saw her own image reflected in that loneliness. The lunch took place in a warm and intimate atmosphere. They prepared and served the meal together naturally, like family members. Mrs. Min showed her hospitality by continually offering food to Tu Tien. The conversation over the meal became more personal when Mrs. Min curiously asked about Tu Tien's relationship with Jack and how she knew Mr. Dong. Tu Tien openly shared that Jack was her boyfriend and explained the connection between Mr. Dong, Jack, and Mrs. Loy. This revealed the trust she had begun to build toward Mrs. Min. Questions about Mrs. Min's daughter in Germany, her job, and how often they kept in touch showed Tu Tian's interest and desire to learn more about the life of the woman who had helped her. The conversation made the meal even more connected and warm. Although she had only been there for a short time, Tu Tian seemed to have found a certain peace and warmth beside this kind-hearted woman. Temporarily forgetting the storms and worries outside, the call from Jack during lunch brought joy and anticipation for Tu Tian. His voice on the other end, although trying to sound normal, could not hide his care and concern. He asked how she was doing, confirmed she was having lunch with Mrs. Min, and politely sent his regards to the host who had taken care of his girlfriend. However, the uneasiness in Tu Tian's heart remained. She kept reminding Jack to be careful, showing her constant worry about his safety. Jack reassured her but also shared an important and somewhat sad piece of news. He would not be able to visit her right away. His explanation, temporarily, once I settled things at home, showed that he was facing complicated problems that required time to resolve, while also being a way to keep both of them safe and avoid revealing Tu Tian's location. Although a little disappointed that she wouldn't see Jack soon, Tu Tian still showed understanding and even encouraged him. Yes, I'm very happy here with Mrs. She accepted the situation and tried to stay positive. She also reminded Jack to be cautious about Mrs. Loy's safety, once again showing her concern for his family. The highlight of the call was Jack's unexpected request, asking Mrs. Min to buy personal items and clothes for Tu Tian. His reason was that Tu Tian was not convenient to go out and he could not come there either. A reasonable explanation under the need for secrecy and safety. This action reflected Jack's thoughtfulness and attention to detail. He not only worried about her safety but also cared for her basic daily needs while she was in a strange place with limited belongings. Jack offering to transfer money to Mrs. Min for the purchases showed his respect and desire not to cause too much trouble. At first, Tu Tian suggested using the money Jack had given her the day before. But Jack still wanted to handle it himself, although he eventually agreed to let her use the available money. This small act of care was enough to warm her heart. Hearing Jack's cough and reminding him to take medicine also revealed the delicate care and deep affection they had for each other. Even through just a phone call. The call ended with Jack promising to stay in touch and Mrs. Min's enthusiastic agreement to help. Tu Tian continued her lunch, probably feeling a bit more at ease after hearing the voice and care of her loved one. Even though she knew she would still have to keep waiting under the protection of the kind-hearted host. The final conversation about how both often ate alone once again stirred a deep empathy between the two women from different generations, tightening the bond of affection between them. The conversation between Jack and Mrs. Loy at home, after Tu Tian had been taken to safety and Jack returned from his meeting with Tu, brought a sense of relief mixed with deep reflection. Mrs. Loy, although still a bit tired after a long night of worrying, felt much more at ease knowing Tu Tian was safe and Jack had come back. The earlier call from Mr. Deng also helped calm her down. Jack, though trying to appear normal, couldn't hide his exhaustion. You look so worn out these days. He quickly updated his mother with the good news that the inter-village bridge project had been approved. A significant success in his professional work. Mrs. Loy could not hide her pride in her son. My Jack handles work so quickly and smoothly. Even after taking a break, he's still doing well. Her trust and encouragement were a tremendous source of strength for Jack. Jack then reassured his mother about Tu Tian's situation, confirming that she was in a safe place and telling her not to worry too much. He also thoughtfully reminded her to stay indoors during this period for her own safety, showing that he fully understood the danger not only aimed at him and Tu Tian but potentially at his mother as well. A notable point in the conversation was that Jack, for the first time, shared with his mother the sudden failure of the clinic project. He recounted how the landlord had cancelled the lease because their son, returning from abroad, wanted the property back. Jack told the story calmly, without resentment, showing his acceptance of the situation and even some sympathy for the landlord's reasons. Mrs. Loy also received the news with composure, advising Jack to let go of that project since the landlord needed the space. Jack's decision to temporarily suspend the clinic project was not just due to the loss of the premises but also because he felt that everything seemed to be going wrong recently. He wanted to focus on successfully completing the bridge project and the other irrigation projects proposed by Tu. Work that was more community-oriented and supported by the authorities. This decision showed Jack's flexibility and ability to prioritize under difficult circumstances. He did not stubbornly cling to the original plan when the situation was unfavorable, but instead chose to focus on what was feasible and more important at the moment. Mrs. Loy fully supported her son's decision, advising him to concentrate on his current work and not rush things. She also suggested that he could offer house calls to patients in need, showing her understanding and support for Jack's passion for medicine. However, the constant concern for his safety remained in her heart. She repeatedly reminded Jack to be extremely careful when going out because there are a lot of bad people out there. These warnings reflected not only her deep love but also a profound anxiety triggered by the recent events affecting their family. The conversation ended with mutual understanding and empathy between mother and son, but also with a sense of caution in the face of unknown challenges and dangers ahead. As immediate worries about Tu Tien's safety temporarily eased, the conversation between Jack and Mrs. Loy shifted to planning how to deal with their enemies. Mrs. Loy, with a mother's curiosity and concern, wanted to know how Jack intended to handle the two thugs and the fake father. Jack did not hesitate to share the counter-strategy he had mapped out after speaking with the fake father. He clearly explained his plan: keep the man at the farm as an informant, continue maintaining contact with the thugs to uncover the real mastermind behind everything. The crucial point, showing Jack's caution, was his decision not to let the fake father know that Tu Tien was still alive. He used the thug's false belief that Tu Tien had died as an advantage, allowing him to investigate quietly without putting her in further danger. This decision showed Jack's careful calculation and his priority of Tu Tien's safety above all else. Although still worried that the plan might be exposed and Tu Tien could be endangered, Mrs. Loy agreed with her son's approach. She reminded Jack that the fake father had confessed to her, suggesting he might feel guilty and not wish to harm Tu Tien. However, Jack remained cautious. Even if he's sincere, we can't fully trust him. He viewed the man merely as a tool in the plan and warned his mother to be extremely careful and not to reveal any information that could compromise the strategy. Jack's biggest concern at the moment was discovering the real motive behind the mastermind's actions. I don't know why they want to harm me. He wanted to find the answer quickly to be able to prepare and defend effectively. The fact that Tu Tien had accidentally overheard the thugs' conversation became a crucial piece of luck, giving them some early insight into the enemy's plot and allowing them to prepare accordingly. Worried because the fake father hadn't contacted them again after the meeting, Jack decided he would personally go to the farm to check on the situation. This showed his proactive attitude and unwillingness to miss any developments. Mrs. Loy fully supported him but reminded him again to be extremely cautious and told him to call Tu Tien to reassure her. The conversation ended with Jack preparing to head to the farm. He had laid out a clear plan, even though it was full of risks, to confront their enemies. Mrs. Loy, although worried, tried to prepare a meal at home, creating a warm, comforting space awaiting her son's return. Her final remark, "This boy is always rushing, handling one thing after another," reflected both her pride and her sorrow for the burdens her son had to carry. The sudden appearance of the two thugs at the farm brought an atmosphere of tension and threat. From their very first words, "What kind of damn house is this? Hidden deep in the mountains. Took forever to get here," they showed their irritation, impatience, and disdain. Upon seeing the fake father, they immediately approached him with an arrogant tone, interrogating him about the task they had assigned. "How's it going, old man? How far along are you with the job we gave you?" The fake father, although previously briefed according to Jack's plan, couldn't completely hide his fear and nervousness. He tried to stay in character, reporting the situation exactly as instructed, that Jack had left him in charge of the farm, that he hadn't seen Tu Tien, and that Jack also claimed not to know where she had gone. He cleverly used Tu Tien's disappearance, which the thugs believed to be her death, as an excuse to delay providing further information. At the same time, he repeatedly emphasized that his daughter was still being held by them. "My daughter is still in your hands. How could I dare to play tricks?" as a way to appear submissive and reduce their suspicion. However, The thugs remained highly suspicious and not easily convinced. Their repeated threats, "Don't try anything funny with us. Don't think you can fool us. We're not easy to deal with," revealed their heightened alertness and readiness to use violence. They didn't fully believe the fake father's words but, for the moment, lacked concrete evidence to expose him. After questioning him without gaining any useful information, and likely realizing there was nothing valuable to loot or destroy in this remote farm, this place doesn't have anything worth taking, they decided to leave. Their sarcastic parting words, "Enjoy yourself here, old man," and complaints about the desolate location, this god-forsaken forest, reflected their contempt and growing impatience. This encounter, although it didn't escalate into direct conflict, clearly showed the lurking danger. Jack's counter-strategy was starting to unfold, but the thug's suspicious and violent nature remained an unpredictable threat. The fake father, despite doing his best to stay in character, was still in a dangerous position, caught between the pressure from the criminals and Jack's plan. His safety, and the life of his biological daughter, remained very much in question. The appearance of a strange motorcycle in front of the farm immediately set off alarm bells in Jack's mind. Sensing that something was wrong, he cautiously approached and arrived just in time to hear the final words of a threatening conversation between the fake father and the two thugs. The words Jack overheard served as a firm confirmation of everything he had known and suspected. He clearly heard their orders: continue forcing the fake father to get close to Jack and extract information for the boss. Their ruthless threat about the fake father's biological daughter being in their hands was repeated, exposing the control and manipulation they had over the poor man. Their demand for immediate reporting of any information about Tu Tien, even as a precaution, further showed their cruel caution. The promise that his daughter's life would be spared only if he completed the task highlighted the desperate and difficult situation he was facing. More importantly, Jack caught the most critical information directly from the thugs as they were leaving. "I don't think that Tu Tien girl has any way back anymore. We can safely report back to the boss." They were completely convinced that Tu Tien had died after falling off the cliff. This was a huge strategic advantage for Jack. It confirmed that his decision to hide Tu Tien had been absolutely right and that the secrecy plan was working. The fact that the enemies believed Tu Tien was dead would buy Jack more time and space to implement his counter-strategy without putting her in further direct danger. Hearing the entire ending of the conversation also allowed Jack to confirm that the fake father, at least for now, was following the plan and cooperating with him, playing the role of a coerced victim in front of the thugs. This further reinforced Jack's cautious trust in the cooperation. This tense moment provided Jack with invaluable information. It confirmed the level of danger, the cruelty of the enemy, the motivations of the fake father, and most importantly, the strategic advantage created by the belief that Tu Tien was dead. It strengthened Jack's determination to act even more carefully, to protect the secret at all costs, and to accelerate his plan to expose the mastermind behind it all. In the quiet and somewhat isolated space of the new house, Tu Tien gradually adjusted to her temporary life. The image of her quietly washing dishes, a seemingly peaceful daily task, could not hide the stream of heavy thoughts running through her mind. The worry about the farm, about the missing father, lingered, intertwined with a familiar feeling of guilt. "I always make Jack worry about me, but I can't do anything to help him." This self-torment revealed the deep love she had for Jack, but also the psychological burden of feeling like a burden herself, a pain rooted in her past lack of family affection and continuous hardships. Her question, "When will this all finally end?" expressed her exhaustion and longing for a truly peaceful life. Meanwhile, Mrs. Min, the kind-hearted host, quietly fulfilled the role of caregiver with careful thought and genuine warmth. Her trip to the market was not just about ordinary shopping, but a meticulous preparation of all the essentials for Tu Tien's life here. She carefully selected each piece of clothing, considering colors, styles, and sizes suitable for the young girl, from everyday clothes to jackets, slippers, and even the smallest personal items. This attention to detail reflected a sincere heart, wishing to make up for Tu Tien's lack of comfort and bring her a sense of care and belonging. When Mrs. Min returned with the new items, Tu Tien's reception was likely filled with gratitude and a bit of shyness. But Mrs. Min quickly dispelled any awkwardness with her closeness. "Come on. There's no need for thanks between us. She gave the items to Tu Tian not just as material help, but as an affirmation of welcome and affection. Even though Tu Tian had only briefly mentioned her preference for darker colors, she could feel the thoughtfulness and care in Mrs. Min's choices. The way she took the initiative to sweep the yard while Mrs. Min was away shopping was her way of reciprocating that kindness. This simple moment, between a lonely older woman and a young girl seeking shelter, created a warm connection, a temporary refuge for Tu Tian amid the storms that had yet to pass. A rare moment of peaceful silence for Tu Tian in her new home. Under the caring attention of Mrs. Min, yet deep inside, the young girl surely still carried heavy worries about Jack, about her family, and about the uncertain future ahead. Would the warmth found here be enough to heal the wounds in her heart? Meanwhile, Jack was striving to balance between his work and his plan to confront the enemies. He received good news from the bridge project but also had to face imminent danger. This temporary separation was surely a major test for the love between Jack and Tu Tian. Which survival skill of Jack impressed you the most? Or which resilience of Tu Tian touched you? What do you think about the way they face and overcome hardships together? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We are really looking forward to reading your opinions. Your support is our greatest motivation. Please support Ken Review by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much and see you next time.